Hi everyone, my name is Kate Schumacher, and today I'll be presenting my individual research design proposal focused on Miro's AI-enabled visual workspace and adoption within higher education. This project examines not only whether students use Miro, but how their early experiences with AI-enabled collaboration tools shape long-term trust, perceived value, and continued adoption beyond graduation. I would begin by outlining the strategic tension Miro faces, then define the management decision and marketing research problems. From there, I will walk through my research questions, hypothesis, and mixed method design. I will conclude by examining how this research directly informs Miro's long-term growth and positioning strategy. Miro provides free access to higher education users, which creates widespread exposure and familiarity with the platform during coursework. However, exposure alone does not guarantee sustained adoption once students transition into professional environments. Research on technology adoption consistently shows that continued use depends on perceived usefulness, ease of use, and integration into existing workflows, not simply familiarity. At the same time, AI integration introduces an additional layer of complexity. AI features can enhance productivity and creativity, but they can also feel opaque, automated, or disconnected from collaborative intent. If students perceive AI as a black box rather than a collaborative partner, trust may erode. Additionally, the collaboration tool landscape is increasingly competitive. Many enterprise platforms now include whiteboarding and AI-enhanced features. This means Miro must differentiate, not just on functionality, but on perceived professional relevance and trust. Therefore, the strategic challenge is ensuring that AI-enabled collaboration feels transparent, integrated, and valuable during academic use, because early cognitive and behavioral habits often persist in professional settings. The management decision problem asks, how should Miro design and position its AI-enabled visual workspace so that higher education users adopt it meaningfully during school and continue using it in their professional careers? Academic users represent a long-term pipeline. The early experiences influence habit formation, brand perception, and tool preference. If Miro AI features are perceived as disruptive, confusing, or unnecessary during coursework, students may not carry the platform into professional workflows. If AI feels supportive and embedded within collaboration, it may strengthen the long-term adoption and advocacy. Therefore, this decision is not only about feature design, but about perception, trust, and strategic positioning. To support this decision, we must define the marketing research problem. The marketing research problem focuses on identifying the information necessary to understand how academic users perceive Miro's AI features and what drives or prevents sustained adoption. Prior literature, including the technology acceptance model and research on AI trust, suggests that perceived usefulness, ease of use, transparency, and workflow integration are central predictors of adoption intention. However, these contracts must be examined specifically within the context of collaborative academic tasks, where social influence, instructor norms, and peer behavior may also shape perceptions. Therefore, this research seeks to identify how students interpret and experience AI features, what builds or undermines trust, which value propositions increase perceived professional relevance. These insights will provide actionable evidence to guide design and positioning decisions. Research question 1 explores how academic users experience Miro's AI features during collaborative coursework. This question is qualitative in nature and aims to uncover how students interpret AI behavior, whether it feels collaborative or automated, and how it affects their sense of agency within group work. Research question 2 shifts towards prediction by identifying which measurable factors, such as transparency, trust, and workflow integration, most strongly influence intention to continue using Miro after graduation. And research question 3 examines messaging and positioning. Specifically, it tests which value propositions make Miro feel like a professional collaboration platform rather than simply a required classroom tool. The hypothesis predicts that students who perceive AI as transparent and well integrated into collaborative workflows will report significantly higher intentions to continue using the platform beyond graduation. Together, these questions directly support Miro's strategic decision by linking perception, behavior, and long-term adoption outcomes. To answer these questions, I propose an exploratory sequential mixed method design. The qualitative phase comes first because I do not want to assume what drives adoption. Focus groups will allow students to articulate their experiences in their own words and surface unanticipated barriers or trust concerns. The quantitative phase follows to test the prevalence and predictive strength of the constructs identified in phase 1. The sequencing ensures methodological rigor. The survey is grounded in authentic user experience rather than theoretical assumption alone, increasingly construct validity and strategic relevance. Phase 1 consists of 3 focus groups with 6 to 8 students each, all of whom have used Miro in coursework. Focus groups are particularly appropriate because AI adoption in collaborative environments is socially constructed. Students influence one another's perceptions, and group discussion can surface shared norms, skepticism, or enthusiasm that might not emerge in individual interviews. Topic explored will include specific moments when AI enhanced collaboration, situations where AI felt disruptive or unnecessary, perceptions of transparency and explainability, whether AI feels embedded in workflow or separate, and whether students perceive Miro as professionally relevant. The output of this phase will be a thematic framework identifying trust drivers, adoption barriers, and common perception patterns. These themes will directly inform survey construct development. Phase 2 consists of a structured online survey administered to approximately 150 to 200 higher education students who have used Miro. The survey will measure key constructs identified in the qualitative phase, including perceived usefulness, ease of use, AI transparency, workflow integration, and trust. The dependent variable is post-graduation usage intention, which serves as a proxy for long-term adoption potential. Statistical analysis will include regression modeling to determine which predictors have the strongest influence on continuation intention. This allows us not only to identify relevant factors, but to quantify their relative impact, enabling Miro to prioritize design and messaging interventions strategically. The value of this research lies in its direct strategic applicability. First, it will identify where AI adoption breaks down within academic workflows, whether due to trust, transparency, or perceived irrelevance. Second, it will clarify which factors most strongly influence long-term continuation intention, allowing Miro to prioritize the highest impact improvements. Third, it will inform positioning strategy by identifying which value propositions increase perceived professional relevance. Ultimately, this research supports Miro's long-term growth by strengthening the education to professional pipeline and increasingly the likelihood that students carry the platform into their careers. So here are the weeks broken down. This project is feasible within a 6-week timeline. Week 1 focuses on guide development and recruitment. Weeks 2 and 3 are dedicated to focus group execution and thematic coding. Week 4 involves survey development and pilot testing. Week 5 includes survey fielding. Week 6 is dedicated to statistical analysis and integration of findings. Data collection tools include Zoom for focus groups, Qualtrics for survey deployment, and SPSS for regression analysis. As with any research design, there are going to be limitations. Convenient sampling may introduce bias, particularly if participants are more digitally engaged than the broader student population. Additionally, the survey measures self-reported intention rather than the observed professional adoption behavior. And by combining qualitative insights with the quantitative data, this approach makes the findings more reliable and gives both deeper understanding and broader relevance in academic settings. My graduate training in research methodology equips me to design rigorous mixed method studies grounded in theory and statistical testing. In addition, my professional background in digital marketing and brand strategy gives me experience translating research findings into practical positioning and growth strategies. And lastly, this combination allows me to approach Miro's challenge from both an academic and strategic perspective. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Thank you.